Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Chuck Swanson from Hancher at the University of Iowa. Chuck, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Dennis. It's great to see you too, virtually.
Virtually, yes. It's all virtual these days. And you all have an important virtual event coming up. So I want to find out a little bit about, what is going on in these extraordinary times for Hancher. But to start off with, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming Sound of Democracy with the Wynton Marsalis Septet. It's an online event, and Hancher has the world premiere. How'd you get that?
Well, Dennis, I think it's going to be our 13th time with Wynton. Of course, this time it's virtual, but with either Wynton or Jazz at Lincoln Center over the history of Hancher. And I got to tell you, every time Wynton comes, he talks so eloquently and so passionately about his relationship with Hancher. So this is something that Jazz at Lincoln Center cooked up. And, this is new to us too, the virtual world. But I've got to say, they've got several presenters around the country that are a part of this. But guess what? Hancher's the first one that they came to.
Oh,
We're the
that's
first
awesome.
ones that they talked to. And it's because of our relationship. This goes way back to the 80s. And I don't know the last time, this is a quick little story, but this wasn't the last time, but the time before when Wynton was here. I was backstage with him and I said, "Oh, Wynton, would you do a little curtain speech before the show?" And he said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "I'd love to do that." So we're out there and he tells this story. And this was a story that he was in, I think it was Central Park. He was walking along and he saw this woman on a park bench, and she looked like she was maybe a homeless woman. I really don't know how he, thought in his head, but she said to him, she said, "Oh, I know you." And Wynton said, "How?" And she said, "Hancher." And Wynton just said, he goes, "That just showed me," he said, "just how important you have been to people and how people have really connected to artists through Hancher." And he said it just did my heart so good. So that's just kind of one example of kind of the care that Wynton really has for us. And so I'm excited about next Tuesday.
That's been a hallmark, really, of your tenure and what you and your staff at Hancher have always done. You don't just hire artists and put them on your stage. You really go out of your way to develop a relationship with them, and it really shows.
Well, what I love too about Wynton, and this goes back way to years ago when he came to the original Hancher, is his commitment to education. Dennis, he has so much of the same values that Hancher has. I always remember back in that dressing room in the original Hancher, after concerts, the line of University of Iowa students and really high school students, jazz students from really all over, waiting just to have a few minutes with Wynton. And he stayed back at that dressing room for really at least an hour or more after the concert. When we presented him, we were without a building. It was at West High. I can't remember I think it was 2014, maybe. It was before, of course, we had our new building. It was a holiday show, and we did two shows. I think one was at 5 and one was at 7, and they both sold out. So in between the shows, we had a opportunity for jazz students to spend some time with Wynton. And so he was just, as usual, just so excited about this educational opportunity. And it was coming to within 30 minutes of the curtain for the second show. And so I went back into that beautiful rehearsal room at West High, and I, tried to stop, the conversation. I stood in front of the students and I just said, "Okay, maybe just one more question." And Wynton looked at me and he just said, "You get out of the way." And I think he continued just till maybe 10 minutes before curtain. So it's not just talk. I mean, he really, really believes in education.
It's an online premiere of a brand new work called The Sound of Democracy, which was recorded, about a month ago, I think,
Yes,
uh, on stage.
in New York.
So, okay, you can tell us it's just you and me, Chuck.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to see any of it?
No, Dennis, really, we are going to get it Friday night. And our education staff is really kind of a little nervous because they want to caption all the voice. And so they say Friday evening, and we don't know what time that is. You know, evening is a long period of time. So we're all kind of anxiously waiting for the arrival of the video. But all we know is 8 movements, you know, a suite, and there are 7 musicians, including Wynton. And just knowing the way he, there again, brings education to music and to jazz, democracy. I mean, the timing couldn't be more perfect for this, Dennis.
Talking with Chuck Swanson from Hancher about Sound of Democracy, world premiere online streamed event of Wynton Marsalis and his brand new work with his septet, The Sound of Democracy. How do people, make a reservation? I say get a ticket, get a virtual ticket, and arrange to watch it.
So they go to the website. They can purchase a ticket through the website. And then what happens is the day of the concert, next Tuesday, October 27th, Dennis, at 5 o'clock, those who have purchased a ticket will get the link to the show that begins at 7:30. And I think there's a countdown that actually begins at 6:15. So people are really, I'm advising people anyway to check it out. Don't wait till 7:30. But this is all still new to us. I know everything's going to work well, but beginning at 6:15, there will be a countdown all the way to 7:30. And for those that purchase at $20 a household, Dennis, that's a bargain. And so for those who purchase the opportunity, the $20 ticket, if 7:30 doesn't work for you, you've got 72 hours that the video will still be accessible to you. And if you want to watch it 2 or 3 times, you can go back to that link. But go through the website, purchase your ticket, and then start watching that countdown at 6:15, 6:30, whatever time works for you.
I've already got my ticket, and I
Good.
am waiting for Tuesday, October 27th to watch this and experience it along with everybody else for the first time. So, Chuck, before we go, let's talk about, just for a few minutes, about, what else is going on. As anyone who's read the paper, it's tumultuous times for the university and for Hancher. So just tell me how you and your staff are negotiating these times when, your building's closed, you're doing your best to find some programming, and of course have that specter of having to replace some lost funding.
Yeah. Well, Dennis, first of all, the darkness is it's hard to take. It's really, we have this beautiful, gorgeous facility that our audience loves, our artists love, and really walking through the building and walking through the auditorium, just there's a sense of sadness. There's a sense of really missing all the action on stage, and really more than anything, I really I miss the people. I miss the audiences. That really is to me, that's really the best part of what I do is seeing audiences and artists interact together. And so what happened for us, which we're all as a staff, we're just very, very happy about, is that we were able to, because at the very week before classes for the dance department, they found out they could not use Halsey Hall for dance classes. So we, Hancher's always trying to reach out to collaborate within the university, within the community. And at a time like this, empathy is so important, really trying to help people navigate this really difficult time. And so we worked with the dance department the week before classes, and we turned Strauss Rehearsal Hall and Hadley Stage into classroom space for the dance department. And so there is activity during the day from 8 to 5. We have classes going on. We have dance students. Sometimes it's good weather, they're out there on the Hancher Green and they're having class. And so we love feeling that activity and seeing that activity. And then on Friday afternoons, the School of Music will use it too. So in the midst of being dark, in the midst of having all these classes and everything, we also, as you mentioned, we got word that over a 3-year period of time, Hancher's going to lose their support from the university. And the university is our largest annual donor. And the arts, it's a difficult time just because of what we're going through, being dark and not being able to bring our audiences together. And then to add this kind of on top of it, it's been a rough summer, so to speak. So as a staff, what's happened is we've divided ourselves up into 8 different committees, and there are different topics related to whether it's increasing revenue, decreasing expenses. How can we in 3 years be able to absorb this $1.5 million internally within Hancher? And so we're going to, staff members are doing their research. We're really, trying to do the best job that we can to stay true to our mission of presenting the world's finest and really working within the academic community, using the arts as a way to enrich the educational experience of students, K through 12th graders, and really people of all ages, staying true to that mission, but yet trying to find a way to make the budget work too. So we have our challenges for sure ahead of us, but I'll tell you what, we as a staff, we're tight. We all have that real love of Hancher, and even within the community, I just feel it so much from our donors and our friends. People really do care. Like you, KCCK. I mean, we do have a group of people that it's an institution, just like you are, and we're going to find a way to make that happen, Dennis. It's rough. It's the biggest challenge. It makes the flood look pretty simple compared to what we're going through now. But that curtain's going to rise again, and it will be joyous and a great time for all of us. So we're doing our best.
Just like everybody else, everybody is figuring out ways to persevere in these extraordinary times. Well, let's close on a positive note. I know that you've got plans for more virtual events and doing things to keep Hancher alive and out there and prosecuting your mission, even while the auditorium can't be used. So anything you want to mention post Wynton that people should be on the lookout for?
I will say we're working on a lot of different things, Dennis. I'm not ready to announce anything at this point, but just like during the flood, you can't contain us. You can't stop Hancher. Our minds are going all the time, and more than anything, we have that loyal audience. We have that loyal group of people. We have friends like you. We're going to make this all work. We really are. Perseverance. The arts in a lot of ways are resilient. We're all going to come through. We really, really are. Who knows when? That's the problem. The uncertainty makes it so difficult. And we have colleagues across the country. We belong to a group. It's the major university presenters, and these are like big universities across the country. They're all facing the same thing. And what we always talk about is if we knew, but science can't tell us yet. And so, and then another sort of kind of fear that I have is just once we're ready, once have a vaccine and things are, really, we are ready to present again. I just really want to make sure that people are comfortable coming, because I do think that there's a level of comfort that we're going to have to, overcome. We're going to have to make sure that people know that it's safe, that we have taken all the protocols, just like the airlines now. I think they're facing challenges too, because I think people are a little fearful. So a lot to navigate, Dennis. But as you said, everybody's experiencing something, and we're all gonna get through it at some point.
That's all we can do is keep moving forward. Well, you have come up with one great step to continue to fulfill the mission of Hancher by presenting Wynton Marsalis and his septet with The Sound of Democracy. Tuesday, October 27th, opens at 7:30 for the live link, and then you can watch it over the next, you said 72 hours, right?
72 hours.
And again, if people want to get their virtual seat, they can do that at your website, which is
www.hancheruiow.edu. Did I get that right?
Yeah. Hancher.uiowa.edu, right? That's what you said. Yep.
Just Google Hancher, Dennis. That's what I always
Okay,
say. We're
that's
the
the
only one
easiest.
in the world. It'll come up.
Well, congrats again on getting
Oh,
that
thank you.
world premiere, and thank you for offering it to, the community and the whole world at such a bargain basement price, $20
Yeah.
for your entire household. So really, there are no barriers at all to keep people from watching this. I'm looking forward to it, and I know our audience is too. And we'll just cross our fingers that soon we'll be able to file into Hancher like we've done before and get to see stuff in person. But in the meantime, this is a pretty good substitute. Chuck, thanks again for being here.
Thank you, Dennis. A real pleasure.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.